that's why I say it's a great time for the feminine energy in a male as well as in a female, because we're reaching to essence that hasn't structured itself. You know, we have energies coming from the cosmos, literally, physically, new radiant energies bombarding our planet that are changing our genetic encoding. And so we want to become aware of those things so that we could see how they could help us to evolve and not just continually play out, this is the role of the female, this is the role of the male, because those archetypes don't really work in today's world. Women are having to use their male energy. Men must embrace the intuitive, tender, nurturing, and visionary energies of the feminine. It's a great time for these essences to change us. We won't necessarily change them, but they will change us if we can become conscious of them. And that's why we do that inner male, inner female work at the Light Institute. Yes.
Did I just hear you right? Did you just say that there are new radiant energies bombarding our planet that are changing our genetic encoding?
Yes.
Could you please talk about that?
Well, we know, for example, that if you have too much radiation, too many mammograms, too much this or that, that the increased radiation can alter your genetic encoding, alter your DNA. At this point, again, because we don't apply the potential as an ingredient in that bombardment, we usually find it to be destructive to us. It harms us, in other words. As we become more conscious and we speed up so that we can embrace more higher frequencies of light, because radiation, by the way, is simply light. It's light faster than the speed of light, some of it. That's why we don't see it. So that radiant light, as it bombards us, quickens and changes our genetic encoding. And just as has occurred through the eons of what we call time, every once in a while, that mutation becomes something that offers us a new possibility or potential. And if we used our consciousness right now, we could actually take into us radiant energies that serve us, that help us to go beyond primordial man and become again illuminated beings of light, which have walked upon this earth in more or less human form. And so there's tremendous potential in that bombardment that's coming in. But we need to learn to be conscious of it. That's why at the Nijoni School for Global Consciousness and during our Nijoni summer camps that we hold here, we take people to Los Alamos so that they can learn to detect radiation, because there is radiation oozing out of those areas. And as we learn to detect radiation, we can learn to take it in a way that it supports us rather than destroys us.
Is that the same thing that happens during the session work then?
Yes.
Because we're bringing in radiance.
Yes, we're bringing in radiance, absolutely. And we think of that perhaps as some kind of a highfalutin word. It's really just a conversation of physics. It's a bombardment of particles or waves, or those places where particles and waves coexist, that changes structure, that changes potential, that changes space and time and our interface with our many realities. And it's very important for us to begin to be aware of that. And there's no place, wherever you're coming from right now, there's really no place on the planet that isn't experiencing that. I go to Switzerland a lot, and they have a smokestack right there in Zurich, and it has radiant energies, and for 15 years or so I've been saying, it's leaking radiant energy. And they've always said, no, 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 it's not. And finally, about a year or so ago, they said, well, there is some radiation coming from this white smoke around Zurich, but it's not hurting anybody. Well, let that be so. And again, the best way it would be so is if people could separate the radiant energies, the radiation from the smoke, and draw it in such a way that it quickens the cellular structure of the body so that we can use that radiance. Again, just imagine right now a meteorite hitting the sun, being gobbled up by the sun, exploding this radiant energy from the sun throughout our solar system and into our atmosphere, and what it does to us because we're unconscious of it, rather than sort of grabbing the tiger by the tail and being part of the spin.